Mic'd up.
Oh, we didn't have music, but we had the show started. How nice. You got to do that first and then push the button.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yankees Coast to Coast. I am with my co-host, Michael Miller. My name is
Where is Michael Miller? I don't see him.
He's there. He's the very red one. He was obviously playing golf and enjoying. Happy day. Happy 42 day. Jackie Robinson day.
Almost. It's not Jackie Robinson day, but I'm wearing the shirt anyway.
Almost. We won't be having a show that night, so it's always good. But Mike, can I have 2 words for you.
Hey! This is a clean show.
All right, sun block.
Oh, I know. I wore it today. It's really funny. This is the first day I've played golf in shorts of the year here in California. What does that tell you?
Well, it was 36 degrees here today. It has been the coldest April in history. We haven't had a day in like above 70. We had a day above 70 in early.
It's only April 10th, so you know.
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I want warm weather. I want to be able to play ball. We had a camp. We lost our game. We didn't lose. We had a rain out on Sunday, and we're expecting another one this week. It's supposed to rain all weekend again. So not happy. Not happy. Damn it.
Well, you have the Giants in town. What more do you want out of life?
And then they're going to rain they're threatening to rain out those games too. They're going to probably do a double header on Sunday. But Sunday looks like the better day. So of course that's the day we play, but it doesn't matter. The fields are so ruined by Saturday we can't even play.
If it's any consolation, I learned from the people that run our league that we're having field issues this year, and
in the volume of fields.
Getting fields for the entire season, which we do have now, but it was a struggle for the first time in as long as anybody can remember.
Yeah.
So
not good. NG. Anyway, baseball. Let's talk about the Yankees.
Let's talk about the Yankees. What do you want to talk about first? I think our topics for today need to be Devin Williams, which we've had some side conversations, and we do have a comment on. I think the bench and the lineup, and people complaining that they don't have any right-handed hitters. And then, of course, last but not least, if we want to get into the Guerrero signing, and my belief that that's further evidence that the Yankees are never at the front of any type of creativity in contracts. And probably, in my mind, was probably the similar reason why they did not get any chance at any of these recent free agents, including Soto, but a lot of other free agents as well. And they better get creative if they want any shot at a guy like Tucker next year. But, we'll see what happens.
Well, I think that is a very important point. And I wonder if the league is gonna step in at some point.
Nope.
Anyways, the players' union seems to have no problem with it.
There's nothing illegal about it, so and the players' union's too strong to stop it. But where do you want to start? Let's
talk about they played. I thought they played terribly this week. I give them a bye a little bit, but because of the temperatures, but the other team played in it too. But I thought that they should have won the third game against the
Pirates.
Yeah, they should have won that game. And I love the comeback. I thought they should have won that game. And the last 3, they just played lackluster, and I didn't think they even looked very good in the win on Wednesday. It just seemed to me that they aren't playing with a lot of energy. They're swinging a lot of pitches they shouldn't be. Their left-handed hitters seem clueless against left-handed pitching. I've got concerns about this. Again, the same problem year after year after year is lousy mental approach in the batter's box. Just a tendency not to be thinking in terms of getting on base, doing the small things to win games. It's always the same. It's thunder or nothing.
And it's lightning and thunderstorms or drought. Is that what you're saying?
It's a drought. It's a lightning storm or a drought. And really, the only one I've been impressed with in this whole and is the guy I was plugging for. I'm loving Ben Rice. I think Ben Rice may really be a baseball player. And it's going to be great if he can adjust to when they adjust to him. We'll see in the next few weeks. But I mean, this guy is out of control, and he does. He's struck out 11 times this season, in 36 at bats. He does strike out a bit, but he also walks 7 times. The guy has really he's got a 419 on base percentage. Really loving this guy. What can we expect? What more can we expect? I'm worried. What are they going to do when Stan comes back? Where is he going to play? He doesn't have a position. So really, it's going to be bide your time to get Goldschmidt, out, and then where does he comes back next season? What are they going to do if he's getting on base for he's on pace for 25 home runs, and they don't have a position for him? What are they going to do? So it's a good problem to have, but it's emblematic of this team is that they've got all these weird sort of people in positions that they don't have a third baseman, and they don't have a leadoff man. They've got seemingly a little problem in the outfield, in left field, in defense. So they're playing a lot of Trent Grisham, but what are they going to do anyway? That's my feeling. Is a nice. It would have been nice to split this week. Play a little bit better than they
They
did
did split. They went 3-3
on the road. Yeah, sorry, my bad. So I'm glad that they did 3-3, but I didn't see it being very these they should beat up on the Pirates.
So
And
I want to address a couple of things. First of all right. As far as third base goes, right, you really can't complain about Cabrera yet. He's hitting 308 with a 379 on base and a low slugging, but he's also playing very good defense, and you can't really complain about him. And Dominguez is not, he's streaky, but he's also 22 years old. So, that's that. What I don't understand is Pablo Reyes on the team at all.
what is that? What is
Uh,
that for?
I
I
don't
mean,
understand. They need a right-handed bat. I don't disagree that they need a right-handed bat, and like we've been talking about, Stanton's
there
going to be
is
right-handed.
nobody in their farm system
Well,
that
there's
they can
one.
bring
There's
up.
one. Listen, if you don't want Cabrera to bat right-handed, and you don't want Dominguez to bat right-handed, there's nobody out there really that they can pick up. Nor should they be picking anybody up because of the situation that they don't know that they're in yet with pitching. But play Peraza against lefty pitching, and I'm sorry, get rid of Reyes. If you don't want Dominguez batting right-handed, bring up Pereira because he's lighting it up again in minor leagues, and he's a right-handed hitter. Does he give you the flexibility that Reyes does? No, but you don't have any outfielders on the bench except for Grisham anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
And Grisham, you know what? Grisham is not the answer. He's just not. I'm sorry. If you're counting on Grisham to
Ooh.
do this all season, it's just not going to
Oh,
happen.
well, so happy there for a moment.
I'm happy for him too. I just don't. I just don't think that the answer to the team's dreams and fantasies is Grisham, because he's left-handed, and that's where Dominguez is at his strongest. And they're not going to sit Judge ever, which they shouldn't. They're not going to sit Bellinger against the righty. And right now, there's no reason to sit Goldschmidt either. He's hitting 383 with a 431 on base. Now, I don't think Goldschmidt's as good against righties as he is lefties, but whatever. And then you've got another problem, which is Wells is hitting 189. So
Well, we have another problem. The bigger
Wells,
problem, in
Dominguez,
my opinion,
Wells and
is
Dominguez are not hitting at all, and Volpe is completely inconsistent whatsoever because his ass is back in the third base dugout when he swings.
how is Chisholm striking out 50% of the time?
Chisholm, that's what Chisholm does. I mean,
Yeah, but this is
Chisholm is a streaky guy.
I think he got very excited about all the talk about his cool new bat and his couple home runs to start the season. He got very hot in the first weekend, and then it's been like absolute crickets garbage ever since.
Well,
It's
put it this
really
way:
embarrassing.
he's going to strike out.
But the at bats aren't even competitive,
He
Mike.
struck out 152 times last year.
That kind of makes him an average player now. But but it's they're not even competitive. And how in the world does he have a 255 on base percent? I mean, it's just.
Well, let me ask you a question. If I told you that Grisham was going to bat 256 with a 324 on base, a 436 slugging, and steal 40 bases, Would,
Grisham,
yeah, that's not Christian. Sorry, I'm talking about Chisholm.
just
Sorry, got
yeah. I
my
mean,
guys
that's what he's gonna do.
right. So then you just got to live with the good and the bad. Not to mention the fact that he's made, what are they, 10 games, 11 games into the season, and he's made half a dozen plays that there's no way in
That
God's green earth that.
no way. That I mean, yeah. I'm just upset because I'd like him to start using his speed. I mean, get drop a bunt, hit a ground ball to third base,
He almost dropped a
third
bunt.
to
Yeah.
short. Pull a Mickey Rivers and slap one over the second baseman's a
Well,
shortstop's head.
that he's not going to do. That, I mean, that is
Why
not,
not?
because that's not what he does. He
It, but
he
with it's foolish to me
he will bunt.
because
He will bunt, but he won't slap a ball.
but this is what I mean. Like, why not? Like that
Well,
would be. Can you
first
imagine
of
how
all,
great he'd be as a
he's
300
miscast.
hitter?
He's miscast as the cleanup hitter,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. But think about him. You know, how hard would it be? And it really, I don't think it's a hard thing. I think that he has the ability to do this, but he doesn't want to do it. But imagine if he was a 300 hitter, 400 on percentage guy, he'd steal 100 bases.
But he's not that. That's not who he is. He can't be something that he's not.
But what if he could be?
You can't give a guy a skill that he doesn't have,
But how do we know that?
because
It
he's
seems
not
to me
in
that he's got
his,
the legs to do
in his
that.
6th year with the team, and a 6 year in baseball, and he's never done that. He's bunted, and he should be bunting more, but he's not going to bunt more because with Judge with on base 45% of the time in front of him, he's not going to bunt because the Yankees don't want Judge on the bases doing that kind of stuff. So the issue is he's
Why don't
miscast.
they put him in front of Judge then? Why don't they put him? What happens if you move Chisholm to bat in front of Judge and then to protect him? Like, don't you think that they would probably give him a little bit more to hit at that point?
I think that the belief is, and I actually agree with this. The belief is that batting Goldschmidt and Bellinger in front of Judge will give you better results than if Chisholm is there instead of, let's say, Bellinger or even Wells at this point. But Wells is not hitting, so we could take him out of the equation. I think batting. I think that I think right now, anytime Judge bats second, it's a mistake. If they're going to bat Goldschmidt at leadoff, and
Mm-hmm.
I think they should bat Bellinger at leadoff when it's a right-handed pitcher at this point, even though Bellinger's starting to slow down a little bit as well. He's
Yep.
only 206, and he hasn't really walked much either. But they think they're going to get more out of those guys. They do.
I'm sure they will. They better
They do
because
need.
this isn't going to work.
They do need a high contact, high on base guy at the top of the order. Right
Tucker.
now, Goldschmidt is doing that, but that's not Goldschmidt. I mean, that's just not the way the world
Oh, can
works.
you imagine if they had just given Hill to the Houston and they would have Tucker leading off. I mean, can you imagine Tucker on this team?
The
How
Yankees
great that would be.
didn't have that option. I'm sorry. I don't think that Houston was looking to do
You don't
that.
think Houston liked him? I thought Houston liked that. That was the deal. That was the reason the
I,
deal didn't happen.
I
They
know.
didn't want the Yankees didn't want to do it.
It would have taken a lot more than Luis Heel to get Tucker.
And it wouldn't have been Dominguez. It
No,
would
it
have been
would have been
Hill,
Heel and
Jones, and
Lombard. It would have probably been Heel and Lombard and other pieces.
you know, that would have been a deal. That would a deal I would have done for
Gotta
1 year.
the guys they got from the Cubs, one of them was a top 5 Major League Baseball prospect.
Mm.
So, it's just Yankees didn't have as much to offer as the Cubs did. They just didn't.
I don't know, rookie of the year picture seems to
Uh,
me like, but it would have been a great thing. Yankees, we would not have Heel now with the uncertainty of the shoulder. So anyway, I'm with you. Um, I think that they're going to be that they've got a lot of guys who are not performing. We haven't even talked about the pitching, which is the starting.
well, we'll get
Yes,
but the offense they do need a high on base percentage guy at the top of the order.
it's
Would a traditional leadoff hitter work for them? Yes. My biggest problem is going to be, and I'm hoping I am 100% wrong. My biggest problem is going to be DJ is going to come back,
oh
and they're going to put him at third base, and they're going to bat him leadoff. And that's going to be
oh
horrendous for the Yankees.
God help us.
So I do think the right-handed bat they expect to be their big acquisition is, I think Sal wrote earlier today was, you know, is going to be Stanton's going to be the big right-handed bat. But right now, Reyes on the team makes no sense to me. And like I said, if they don't want Cabrera batting right-handed, put Peraza in there. Peraza is not going to cost you anything on defense. That's for damn sure. He's a great defender as well. And as far as Rice, you know, as much as he's been very much needed in the offense, if I still believe that if DJ didn't get hurt, Rice would have gone down and caught every day. And that's really where there is only hope for him, is that they can get Rice some time at catcher somehow. I mean, there's nothing against Ascari. He hardly ever plays. And, you know, granted, he's, you know, 1 for 8 or whatever he is for the season. But, you know, if you want Rice to be in there and you can have him as your backup catcher and your backup first baseman, right? I have fears of Johnny Ellis in my head, but that's beside the point. The against the tough
Very good
right-handed,
reference.
I know, tough right-handed hitters, right-handed pitchers, all of a sudden you hit people with a lineup that has both Wells and Rice in it, because there's no way Goldschmidt's going to keep this up. But they need something. Their offense is, like you said, it's you know, they won yesterday because Rice hit the homer.
I mean, really, the only thing that I miss, you know, I think Rice is at this point in his career a better. I don't know if there's any question. He's a better player overall than Stanton. What Stanton does is scare the hell out of everybody from the right side. And that's really nice because they need that. They need a little intimidation from the right side. They don't have that beyond. I mean, Judge is the ticket there. But
Well,
it's great to have.
not been bad. Volpe,
Yeah, but I mean, not bad. I listen. I'm very happy with Goldschmidt. It
Volpe,
doesn't. The right-handers aren't what worry me. It's the lefties who can't hit left-handed pitchers.
right.
That's what's so scary. So you need to have another
Well,
right-handed
it's actually
power bat in there.
switch hitters who can't hit left-handed pitching.
Well, that's another thing. It's just terrible. And the question is, how long will it take before they decide to make Dominguez a full-time
Well, being
bat?
that they're in first place or near first place, it's going to be a long time.
Yeah, I mean, and they're not going to mess with his career. They're going to let him develop. But I have you watched the difference between this guy, left-handed to right-handed? It's pretty his swing doesn't look good from the right side. It doesn't look like
Who,
it
Dominguez,
doesn't look comfortable.
Cabrera, or both?
Hmm?
Dominguez, Cabrera, or both?
Well, Cabrera's the same way. Exactly. But I'm not worried about him because Cabrera doesn't look that good from the left side either. What I mean, Dominguez is a legitimate star from the left side. He's going to be a great left-handed hitter, and that's what they need more than anything. I still want him to be that great left-handed hitter at Yankee Stadium, but he needs to be able to contribute from the right side, and I don't see that. It just doesn't look like the same guy. He looks completely off time. His bat speed is different from the right side. Um, the fielding, listen, he's been okay. He hasn't been terrible out
He
there.
hasn't done anything wrong.
He hasn't done anything wrong. So I like it. I'd love to see him do more. But he's got a home run, 3 RBIs, striking out too much, and also striking out too much considering he does 39 at bats. But he'll take a walk. His on base percentage is pushing 300. So if he gets a little bit hot, you'll see that move up.
Right. I mean, if he could put it this way, if he's hitting 205 and his on base percentage right now is near 300, if he can hit 250, his on base percentage goes up to near 350.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, you're right. Third base has been a positional strength for them this year. They look good. Peraza is hitting 286. Oswaldo is hitting 308. I mean, they're both hitting, and what I like is Oswaldo's. Peraza's only struck out 4 times in 14 at bats, but what's amazing is he's played 6 games. I'd like to see him get in, and I still don't understand why Reyes has even any at bats at all. It doesn't make any
sense. They started Reyes the first 2 lefties of the season against lefty pitchers was just asinine.
Yeah, but I think we've seen the less of that.
Not be on the team.
Yeah.
Peraza
What's he in there for? Is he there for in case
Peraza can play second, short, and third. Cabrera can play second, short, and third. Cabrera can play first base. Cabrera can play outfield.
He's redundant, and it's not like it's a piece that helps him. I
Yeah.
mean, bring in an outfield, bring in a right-handed outfielder right now. You're right. Bring in Pereira. Why not? Are they saying, does Reyes not have any options left? Is that
Who
is
cares?
that
Who cares?
who cares? I mean, he's a no, he's a non-commodity at this point. There's nothing there.
Adam Ottavino him. Come on, man.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so we talked about the hitting. I want to talk about the pitching. We only got a few minutes, so let's go.
So we could talk about Williams. I mean, Williams is what Williams is. He averages 4.5 walks for his career per 9 innings, or just under that, which is a walk every other inning. Yes, he does strike out 14 guys for 9 innings as well. The biggest thing is he doesn't allow any hits his entire career. So the big question is, what the hell is going on? Why isn't he striking guys out like he was striking them out?
Yeah.
That's one of the things that we can talk about. I mean, he's pitched 12 innings and he's faced 18 batters, and
He's pitched 12 innings already.
Oh no, sorry, that's
No,
his year.
his ERA is 12. He's pitched 3 innings.
He's pitched 3 innings and he struck out 5 batters, which is 15 batters per 9.
Yeah, that's great.
He's pitched 3 innings and he's walked 4 guys, which is 9.1.
Yeah, like his right now his WHIP is is 3.
Right.
I mean, that's not good, but we know that'll be.
It's the 5 hits. The 5 hits has me concerned.
I know I ranted about him yesterday to you and Asti. Asti sort of agreed with me a little bit, mostly because he didn't like the answer during the press conference, which I didn't either. But at least he's honest. I mean, I like that he's this guy that I know who told me about him said that he's a little bit of a he's not he's not your classic kiss ass Yankee. Like he's definitely got he's got an edge to him, and he's an honest guy. He says what he feels, and that's not something you normally get from Yankee stars.
Yankees don't do that.
They take the line. But listen, that's fine. I gave him a hard time mostly because I didn't like the body language out there. The body language so far has not been dominant closer. It looks like he's ambivalent, and that's weird. You don't usually see that in these guys. They come in, they're all pumping with testosterone.
Not happy with the way he's pitching. The body language that would bother me is if he got angry at anybody else but besides himself. I mean, he said it's him. He said all the right things. So let's see what Asti has to say while you brought him up.
Okay.
Hi, guys. On Devin Williams, I'm starting to get a little concerned about what's happening with him. His command is way off in the strike zone. Batters seem to be laying off that airbender that he has. Anything below the belt, they're not swinging at. They're letting it hit the dirt. So he comes in with a cookie cutter, and that's what they hit. And his fastball's not there.
Well,
great point. He's absolutely right.
He doesn't have 98-mile-an-hour fastball. He never did. He's a fastball changeup guy.
I don't know, but his fastball's been showing at 93. That's really low. I thought we'd get a little bit more than 93, but that's okay. That's okay.
How much of it is the cold? But we'll see about.
But the thing is, the point about his point, Joe's right about command. That's the issue. They will lay off if he can't get the bender over the plate. They will lay it off because you got to think most changeups don't land. Most changeups aren't in the zone. The best changeups are out of the zone, but they're in the zone coming at you. And then last minute, they run out of steam and they dive. And that's what's so great about them. But in his case, he's been so off that they're seeing the ball out of his hand and it's not in the zone. Got to think what a pro can do. A pro baseball player sees the ball coming out of a hand.
His command is so bad right now that you can get up there and say, listen, I'm just not going to swing until he can throw for a strike. And if he throws 2 balls with the changeup and then he comes back with his 93, 94, he's going to get hit. Like I said, I'm more concerned about the 5 hits he's allowed than the 5 walks that he's allowed, because he's never allowed a lot of hits. I mean, last year he pitched only 21 innings. He allowed 10 hits. The year before, he pitched 58 innings, allowed 26 hits. The season before that, he pitched 60 innings, allowed 31 hits, 54 innings, 36 hits. The guy does not allow hits.
Yeah.
He does allow walks and he strikes out guys, but he does not allow hits. And so far this year, 3 innings, 5 hits is way
What's his
different.
lifetime whip? It's under 2, right? It's under
His
1, right?
whip is 1.047, and before the season, it was probably below 1.
Well, he doesn't have enough. That's not going to impact him. This is nothing. But it's but
Well,
3
he's
innings can.
pitched 230 innings in his career.
But the thing about this guy, well, he's never been a long. He doesn't go. He's a 1 inning guy. That's his strength. He's not a multiple inning guy. That's why they have Weaver.
Well,
And
he sort of was when he was in front of Hader. He would pitch an inning in the third,
yeah,
innings
but he
there.
wasn't the same guy. He
No.
was a setup man. That's why he was there. But he was Weaver. But I got to tell you, I'm not worried. I agree. I think that he's just not. The command isn't there, and he'll get it. Wait till we just need some more. They've had terrible weather.
Yeah.
You guys in California, you can't understand what it's like playing in this kind of weather. I mean, it's rained pretty much half the time. They've been terrible. Temperatures are low. They're very, very cold.
And it's windy and it's wet and
it just sucks. It sucks. So let's get. I'm thinking a week of 70 degrees, and then everybody thaws, and then maybe it lets loose a little bit. I just don't think he should be saying, I don't feel 100% myself. I don't feel like I'm 100% there yet. And he's saying mentally. He says physically he's fine, but let's see. I definitely am excited to see the real thing, because I got to tell you, Weaver has been beautiful. I mean, it's 5 innings, but I mean nothing. He hasn't shown 1 hit this year at 5 innings. The guy is ridiculous.
And he hasn't got his full velocity yet either.
That's right. They're saying he's light right now. But listen, between him, I'm liking what I'm seeing with him, Weaver. I think I'm glad that. Listen, I'm not as down on. I don't understand why Kramer doesn't like Ottavino so much. Listen, I don't mind having him around. I mean,
He's been good so far this year, but I mean, he's
good.
The guy.
Kramer doesn't like him. Kramer hates him.
I don't want him. If I had a choice, I would choose other people. But you know what? I feel the same way about Ottavino. I feel about Hamilton and Leiter, except Ottavino's older, so I'm a little concerned. And Ottavino has to be. I think you and I. Well, I'll say this because you're faster than I am. I think I could steal a base if Ottavino was pitching.
Yeah, that is a problem, and they don't want him in that situation.
Right, and that's you can't have him as late inning guy. So I was looking at the Yankees schedule, right? So they're home this week against the Giants and the Royals. Your weather's going to be cruddy, I assume, all week, right?
Yeah.
Then they go to
warm up late next week.
Then they go home to Tampa, right? But then they go back to Cleveland, which God knows what's going to happen.
God, all this northern play. I mean, amazing.
And then they come home to the Toronto, and then they go to Baltimore. So they're not looking at warm weather guaranteed.
But by Baltimore, it'll be warm enough. But listen, they just got to get through to the last week of April, and they're going to be fine weather-wise. It'll get better, and May will be gorgeous. And
May they're in good shape because they're at home against Tampa and San Diego, but then they come out here to Oakland, and then they go to Seattle, which is a dome. Right?
Well, I mean, the weather's going to stop becoming a factor. The rain will be a factor, but not the temperatures. Now it's just purely horrible.
Speaking of coming to West Sacramento, the least expensive tickets right now, I literally just looked beforehand. The least expensive tickets are the Friday night game on the lawn for $95.
I hope the food's good.
I have no idea what the food's like up there in West Sacramento.
Are you going to go? Are you going to pay the price?
No, I won't.
Wait a minute. You can't get in. You don't have a special in with somebody there. You can't.
No, my boss left the A's and works for the Oakland Roots, the soccer team, who I now work for. But I have more of an in Pittsburgh than I do in Tampa.
Who's Pittsburgh?
The ticket manager that used to be my boss is the ticket now in Pittsburgh.
Oh, you should have told me that. My brother was there last weekend. He would have loved this weekend. My brother, as always, sits in the last seat in the upper deck. Well, it would have been nice for him to get a better deal.
So, yeah, but he could have moved around. That place was empty. So the decent seats, and I'm not talking about the best seats, are $220. So, I mean, there's no fear of rain really when the Yankees.
Got it.
So you could sit on the lawn on a blanket, but people sit on chairs, and then you won't be able to see.
All right. We're past our expiration date. So let's talk about the bullpen we like to talk about because it's so incredibly important to this team. This team will not win without an amazing
not
bullpen.
when you have Rodon and Warren throwing 110.
It's horrifying. Let's talk about that. First of all, Fried, a stud. Could not be happier. I think he's as good. He is as good as Cole in as I mean the idea that they lost. You got to think where they are right now.
Right.
They have a legitimate number one right now who looks terrific. That's who they had last year in Cole. So you got to think they're kind of flat. They've got the same. They're basically even with last year. The problem is the loss of Heel, and that really hurts them. They're losing that.
Heel was Cole for the first half of the year last year.
Yeah.
But the Yankees right now, they're 7-5, so they're in first place, which is crazy.
Fine. Considering that, they barely hit their way out. After the first 3 games, they've done nothing.
Right.
Hitting.
But we will hear Michael Kay and, well, hopefully not Flaherty, keep talking about the record pace for home runs they're on. But
I want to ask you a question about the game the other night, something that happened in the Williams inning. I wanted to talk to you about it at the time. This whole thing of defensive indifference annoys me. The first defensive indifference in that game was okay to me. When you had a guy on first goes to second with a 4-run lead, I get it. But then they did it again. Then they allowed it again. They allowed a guy to go to second while they had a guy at third, down by, which means a single brings the tying run to the plate. Well, why in the world would they allow that guy to go?
Well, the problem I had is 2 things. One is the base hit to Judge. He had no business trying to throw the ball home.
Oh, that was bad. I've never seen. He doesn't do that often. He usually makes the right spot.
Not only did he throw it to the wrong place, he missed the cutoff man, which he rarely ever does.
Yeah.
And then Wells threw the ball into center field when he had no shot to get the guy at second.
Yeah, this is a classic. I mean, again, they should know.
You're lucky he didn't end up on third base.
But going back a step, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why did they allow?
I didn't have a problem with the second defensive indifference because the tying run was still in the on deck circle.
But that's always a problem. A single, and then you bring the tying run to the plate.
Right, but
why not keep him at first?
I don't have a problem. Let him get the batter. I don't even want to think about it. Let him get the batter. I mean, he's supposed to be able to get the batter out.
True.
So
absolutely, but you had to see that he wasn't there. Something was missing. So they needed to be a little bit more preventative in that situation, not just let him have the base.
Listen, I don't know Devin Williams' pickoff move or ability to hold on runners, but closers are notorious for not having the best pickoff move or for holding runners close, right?
That is true.
So you go by that logic and just assume he's average, the odds on throwing the guy out at second base are not very good. So better off not throwing the ball to center field and letting the guy from third score and the guy from second get to third. And that's my thinking on that one, assuming that Devin Williams doesn't have the pickoff move that Luis Severino has, who is the best right-handed pickoff move I think I've seen, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens from there. But I didn't have a big problem with it. I had a bigger problem with Judge throwing the ball home, which, like you said, is not a type of mistake he usually makes. He's a smart
player. I won't worry about that.
But he missed the cutoff man, which was a physical mistake, which is also one that he doesn't really make very often. And then the silliness of Wells trying to throw the ball to second base.
Stupid.
And allowing it to score. So that was a silliness.
So do they have any moves in them for a starting pitcher? Do you feel Alcantara is even within reason?
Yes, but they can't do anything till he continues to prove he's healthy.
And here's my question to you. Alcantara, do you move if they have to make the deal? Do they move? Does Rice have value in that trade?
Yes, Rice has a lot of value in that trade.
To me, he would be that.
I have news for you because I'd rather give up a Rice than I would give up Lombard Jr.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have to give up either Lombard Jr. or Jones in that deal.
I give up Jones.
I would give up Jones over.
How's Jones doing down the minors? Still striking out too much? I haven't seen.
I haven't looked. I could take a look at the.
But I think that would be an interesting thing. I mean, he's really, really building a value profile. So it would be nice to see if he would be, if they'll look at him for that. I'd like to see an Alcantara. And I wasn't big on this. I didn't think that they needed help. until I saw this last week. I'm worried about Rodon. I really don't see him. I don't think he's a winner. I think that he is. It's amazing watching Rodon pitch. It's the tale of two guys, two mindsets. He is all in, and he is an animal. And the minute he gets shaken, the minute he has a little trouble. Anytime he has an issue with an umpire, if he doesn't like a call, he's going to give up a hit or a home run, and that's really bad. He doesn't have for a guy as tough as he is, he's got a very, very, very light constitution, don't you think?
I
See that in when you saw him in
I agree.
your hometown team.
Yeah. So listen, Pereira's hitting 290 with a 378 on base and a 387 slugging. So he's got a homer and 6 RBIs and 2 stolen bases. But down in Double A is where Jones is, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's in Double A. So
they probably had weather problems too down.
They're having weather problems at Scranton Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah.
And Double A is Somerset, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see if they even started. Somerset Patriots. I have a great Patriots souvenir cup. Just so you know.
Lovely. It's very nice.
I figured you would like that. I like the Somerset. So have you ever been to that stadium? It's fantastic.
I love it. I love it. It's a playoff game with Jamie a couple years ago.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So their opening day is April 8th. So they have had some games because they're playing right now. As a matter of fact, they're beating Reading 4-1.
So what's his stats?
So I'm looking for Jones. Spencer Jones is hitting 250 so far in 16 at bats.
How's the strikeout?
Homer, 2 RBIs, 5 walks in 21 plate appearances, 5 walks, 7 strikeouts.
That's more the same. But listen.
But he's got a 455 on base.
The walks are really, in that case, that will be fine. That'll be acceptable. So if he can walk so often, and that's great. I wonder who's batting behind him.
I don't know, but where did they send Lombard Jr.? They didn't send him to Double A?
He's 19. Maybe not. Maybe he's.
I thought Arias was at Single A and Lombard Jr. is Double A, but I could be wrong.
Maybe they just want him to play a little bit, so they've got him down in Florida and they'll move him later.
Maybe.
All right, it's time to finish up. I gotta go eat dinner. It's late. I want to go watch some film noir with my beloved.
Just so you know, Dominic Smith is batting 208 in the minors.
Well, listen. It's it'll be nice. He'll be the first call up if they have a first base problem.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great day. Thank you. Why don't we do a show during the Giants series? Maybe we'll do something. We'll do a rare weekend show if something fun happens over the weekend.
I can't do anything Sunday, but I can do stuff Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday's Passover. Are you going to a Passover?
No, Sunday. Well, Sunday's Passover for when we're doing our big Passover. So.
All right, we're doing Saturday. All right, maybe not this week. Maybe next week.
All
right, Shabbat Shalom.
Good Yontif.
Good Yontif.